Aloha to all of you, it's me, Seashell Surf. We're up at the Waimea Canyon at KŌKE'e State Park. Mark Twain, who spent time here in the islands, coined the Waimea Canyon the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. Welcome to the Hawaiian Islands. Our excursion takes us first to KŌKE'e State Park on the west side of Kaua'i upland. We're up at 3,400 feet. And Kaua'i is 4.5 to 5 million years old. So you can imagine how long it took for this canyon to be formed. And you can see we have a high iron oxide content here. It's the red clay we call alaya or alai. And as we head back towards the south side, we're going to stop at the salt pond beds where they make the pink salt that's colored from the natural clay. We've been having fog in the air from the volcano recently, and that makes for some dry weather on some occasions, so the waterfalls aren't running today, but the water that goes down through the Waimea River and that word Waimea literally means red water, but it's not necessarily red because of the clay. The water is actually rustic red, like you see here on the rocks. In addition to the white rocks within the riverbed, you can clearly see it's a rust-colored water. It's not dirty, and it is magnificent. Now, Waimea Canyon, as you continue up the road, has many lookouts, so be sure to stop at the official parking lots and lookouts. Otherwise, these areas can be very dangerous, and the sides of these cliffs can have loose soil, especially during the dry season, that you can just slide right off. So, as you can see, we're at the Waimea Lookout. We're on the lower level of the lookout. And I have seen, in addition to some tour helicopters, we have seen many of the long-tailed white tropic birds flying here. And don't be surprised if you see the deer or a white-tailed buck up here, along with the wild boar and goats that are feral and not native to the Hawaiian Islands, and they are sadly an ecological terror. In 1793, Captain George Vancouver, who had been on trips with Captain Cook, introduced the first long-horned Monterey steer that were kind of sickly. King Kamehameha took a liking to the cattle, and he put a kapu on them so that no one could kill them. Unfortunately, he didn't know how fast they could reproduce and get out of hand, and thus the Hawaiian cowboy was created as vaqueros from Mexican California, and Spanish caballeros were brought to the islands to train Hawaiians how to be ranchers. And because Hawaii was a provisional stop for the fur trade, sandalwood trade, whalers, well, they would stop here for the bars that started to open up and also to get food. Parker Ranch on Hawaii Island was the largest ranch in the U.S. at one time. It takes an island about 1 million years to move off the hot spot. And we do have Mount Waialeale here in the center of the island, which is one of the wettest spots on Earth, averaging over 400 inches of rain annually. And all of that rain has carved out this magnificent canyon You can see all the areas where there have been landslides, which helped create the beautiful valleys that lead down into the Waimea River here. This is one place you don't want to miss on your vacation to Kaua'i. Aloha Waimea Canyon. We're heading to salt ponds in Hanapēpē. We're back through the town of Hanapēpē. We're looking up Mauka or mountain at the beautiful Hanapēpē River, which provides the irrigation system for the Lo'i Kalo or the taro patches that are all the way up the valley here. And it's bond dance season, and right across the street from here we have the Soto Zen Hongwanji. We're going to be at the bond dance next weekend. Hanapēpē is Kauai's biggest little town. In the original cartoon movie Lilo and Stitch, the town in which Lilo was from was based on Hanapēpē right here on Kauai. Don't forget to stop at the Salt Pond Country Store for all your snacks, sodas, and fishing supplies. Welcome to a new season of Hanapēpē salt beds. The season begins in May, so we're about a month and a half into the salt bed season. You can see on the outskirts of the salt beds here, we do have some salt that's been forming. This is an ancient art salt making here with the pink alaya or alai, which is the clay that is evaporated along with the salt water. In ancient times, it was used as a medicine and as a dye. And there are families who have been doing this for generations. And those people have the rights to come down and do the salt bed making. Now, the salt is not sold, but it can be given away freely, or it can be traded, and especially in the old days. Now, because of the salt making down here, and because this is a fishing village, the salt was used to dry fish. It was a commodity that was highly sought after, especially by the people who may have had pieces of land in the upper areas to grow different types of fruits and vegetables, such as bananas, and growing taro in the valleys. So this became a center of commerce for ancient times, and it still is a fishing village today. And the community of salt bed families that come down and make the salt, they make the salt beds, fill them with the water, and the water evaporates on top of the clay beds, and therefore it's pink salt. Once the salt water has evaporated and made salt, it needs to be harvested, sifted, and cleaned. And then the salt is kept by the families, and whatever extra they have, they give away to maybe people they invited to come down and help work in the salt beds, and we share. You're looking over at the Port Allen airfield. It used to be an old helipad for tours, but it is no longer. Traditionally, a simple Hawaiian meal would consist of poi, the mashed kalo, and some salt. And you could share that with anybody, and it's considered a meal. Other ways to produce salt, for example, like out at Kea'alea, which means encrusted salt. It's on the east side. They used to make indentations in big boulders, and those would fill up with salt water, and it would be evaporated and encrusted on the boulder indentations. And then you can just scrape it off. Let's take a look over towards the swimming area and the Kaulakahi Channel between the islands of Ni'ihau and Kaua'i. It's 19 miles between the two islands. And now we're driving by the Port Allen airfield where you can parachute. And if you come down to the Port Allen Harbor just across the coastline here, you can sometimes see those people parachuting, jumping out of the plane and getting ready to land. Now, this is one of the most beautiful coastlines. I wouldn't recommend swimming out here. This is a rough area, and probably not too many people other than fishermen use it. But it is a beautiful coastline for sightseeing, or if you're parachuting from above. Remember, never turn your back on the ocean. Always swim where there's a lifeguard. Across the bay, you're looking at Port Allen. Port Allen was created for the purpose of shipping sugar. Once ranches popped up, they even used them to ship cattle. And sometimes they would say, oh, the water would turn crimson red, and no cow left on the rope. Now, as we go by the Habitat for Humanity building, you're going to see a beautiful mural. These are all related to ancient and traditional Hawaiian stories. We're going back over towards the south side. We're going over the Hanapēpē bridge from the other side now. You're going to see one of our old gas stations. There are many buildings here that have history to them. And one of my favorite old sugarcane houses is coming up here. And there was another one in Koloa, but they tore it down. So that's a traditional plantation home. Welcome to Poipu. We're down at the Sheraton Kaua'I Hotel, and as you can see, the seasons have changed, and it is surf season down here. On the south side, we have some surfers and boogie boarders out there. And remember, next month, we have the Garden Isle annual boogie board contest with contestants like this guy coming up. He's doing a drop knee performance on this wave. This person is performing a 360 spin, and when they roll within the barrel, they are performing a sushi roll, and we have some experts in that. And I can tell you one thing from experience, folks. There's nothing like being in the barrel of a wave. It's complete silence and excitement, heart pounding, all at the same time. It's a rush. Seashell adventures are filmed entirely on location in Hawaii. A big mahalo nui loa to all of you for joining me, Seashell Surf, with a spectacular excursion up to Waimea Canyon and all the way back down to the Hanapepe Hawaiian salt beds where they make traditional Hawaiian salt. As we say here in the Hawaiian Islands, until we meet again, a hui hou and aloha.